The middle income trap is a concept that states that once a country enters the middle income zone, they become non-competitive for manufacturing and can't compete with low-income countries. However, they don't have the sophistication and the education to compete with high-income countries for high value-add services. In practice, this could look like a country with increased minimum wages that increase to the point that it is no longer competitive with low-income countries in the manufacturing of cheap goods, but at the same time they lack competitiveness with high-income countries. This could be through poor education, bureaucracy, and many other things that can affect the middle-income country. Effectively, what this means is that a middle-income country is just not competitive with low or high-income countries, and it gets stuck in a bubble where it cannot grow because it can't provide value to other countries and grow its own economy. To demonstrate this with a real-life example, we'll talk about Thailand. And it's worth noting this is merely an economic concept, so there's no perfect example. In Thailand's case, they suffer from labour shortages and a low fertility rate. Its birth rate sits at 1.3 births per woman, which is vastly lower than the 2.1% needed for natural replacement of the population. To remedy this, they've been importing cheap labour from countries around them, such as Burma, Laos and Cambodia. However, as these countries' economies grow and grow, it's going to become less viable for those people to move into Thailand to work. Education also fails to adequately prepare people for the workforce. English literacy and IT skills have been reported to be quite low by foreign investors. The business environment doesn't foster growth either. There's many monopolies in Thailand that make real competition very difficult, and research and development sits at 0.25% of the GDP, which is 8 to 10 times lower than most developed countries. Countries can avoid this by better education. This was seen by the Asian tigers when they grew straight through the middle income trap. They invested heavily in education and infrastructure. Quality education helps countries transition into high value add services, and better infrastructure allows for a more efficient workforce and that saves more time. And as wages become more expensive, this becomes more and more relevant. Economic equality is important too, as wealthy people tend to favour policies that lead to economic stagnation. This is seen best in South Africa and Brazil, two of the most unequal societies in the world and the two poster children for the middle income trap. Reducing bureaucracy to attract foreign investment and foster local entrepreneurship is also a very important thing. If we look at the four Asian tigers, Hong Kong, Singapore and South Korea all rank in the top 5 global countries for ease of doing business. China is an interesting case study because in recent years its demographic woes are being actualised. China has pivoted towards domestic consumption and high value manufacturing to try and mitigate the effects as it enters the middle income zone. This helps curb rising labour costs, and by focusing on their internal market, they're not so affected by low wages of places in, say, Southeast Asia. Much of the less technical manufacturing has moved outside of China into Southeast Asia, particularly Vietnam, where the manufacturing sector has been growing at 9% per annum post-COVID. This is important to us as investors and expats, as many countries in the middle income trap suffer from low GDP growth, and this is reflected in their stock markets and real estate markets that are often quite stagnant. There is a small silver lining, however. If you're looking to move to a middle income country, things are quite affordable wherever infrastructure tends to be fairly good and prices do stay fairly stagnant over the long run, which helps you forecast your cost of living. If you want to move or invest in Asia and want to know where's best for you, get in touch with us and we'd be more than happy to help.